like, I've been to France. It's beautiful. I tried the croissant.
Oh, the
omelette du fromage.
Dude, I love Americans so much.
You said last time, you said African American people
Black
are the
dudes.
greatest people on earth. That's the exact quote that came out of your mouth.
Black people
African American people are the best guys.
Amazing.
I know, it's just such a funny, racist sounding thing to say out loud.
It's not racist.
I know it's not. I know you didn't mean it that way, but the way it comes off,
it's like the what is it? They had a Community episode about it. It was like an aggressive compliment. It's
right.
I forget.
African American people are the greatest people of all time. It's one of those things where it's like we've reached the point in like racial rhetoric, I guess, where and mental illness collectively as a society that if you say something like what John said last episode, because I'm wrong actually. You are right. When you say like African American people would say the greatest things of all time, like it was nothing there was nothing racist about that, but because of where we're at culturally, just even stating a compliment about another race gets misconstrued as racist. It's so weird. We've lost all context and all meaning.
I think one of the best things about African American people, and something I think isn't really like talked about, is they are the heart and soul of American confidence. To go up to a French reporter.
Now it would be racist if I were to dispute this.
I love and like just being,
but I don't think
charisma. They are the heart and soul of American confidence and charisma.
Charisma, I agree with. When you say confidence, I don't know what you mean by that.
Black Americans are probably,
they do have confidence
globally. I will say, I've met a lot of introverted black dudes. I was gonna say
that exists as well.
That exists. I'm making a big blanket statement here, but I think if you polled, if aliens came to Earth and they said and they were like, we want the most charismatic person you have, odds are it's probably gonna be a black dude.
You send them Cat Williams.
You send them fucking Kanye West.
Yeah.
You send them Kanye West. You send them fucking The Rock. You send them.
Rock has too much depressive energy radiating off of him, and I love him. I do, but you can smell his nihilism from a mile away. We just talked about him on the Patreon.
Who's the comedian? The little comedian guy. His name escapes me really.
Kevin Hart. The little comedian guy.
So funny. Did you see Kevin Hart talking to was it Mos Def? Not Mos Def.
He was talking to Don Cheadle.
Don Cheadle, and he's like,
"Wow,
how old are you
big racist."
Nah, the two guys. Don Cheadle, and he goes, "You see."
Don Cheadle looks nothing like Mos Def. Yeah, I saw it where Don Cheadle gets really offended. And Mos
Def, that was so funny.
It was funny, but it was so I don't remember who was right, but I always side with the guy that is making the joke versus the guy that's offended by the joke. I don't remember what the transgression here was on Kevin Hart's behalf, but I doubt it was one of much significance given that,
Have you seen The Rock and Kevin Hart go back and forth?
No.
The funniest shit you'll ever watch in your life. Them in interviews? Really? Oh my God.
Together? So The Rock doesn't seem as depressed in this.
No, not at all. Can we pull that up for like 10 seconds? I just want to show it for you.
Yeah. And then we have to get into Jonah Hill.
I'm sorry. I always do this. We
have to get into Jonah Hill.
This is what I would be doing if I was upstairs with Ida and we were watching YouTube things.
I just want to make it clear in the first few minutes, we're about to talk Jonah Hill and the girlfriend and the texts and the...
Yeah, we're going to talk about how problematic.
Maybe I should insert this into the first minute because they're always like, oh, you got to be super interesting in the first minute because everyone's dwindling attention span. Can't handle.
Look at these guys.
My name is Kevin Hart, and I am a piece of shit.
Are we allowed to play this, by the way, on the public?
I don't know.
That's great, John.
How you doing? I'm Kevin Hart, a.k.a. K
We'll play it for a second. If we have to blur it, we blur it.
A.k.a. that guy.
Dwayne Johnson here.
It's a perfect opportunity for me to smoke and get ramped up for Jonah here, for Jonah talk.
That guy.
My name is Dwayne The Rock Johnson.
All right. What we got here?
Us and our vapes.
That's amazing.
Scumbag.
And the time it takes the dog to climb one step, name 4 chocolate bars, Snickers, Kit Kats, Mars. Milky Way.
Easy shit.
Twix, dude. It's the best
Google,
one.
They seem like they're genuine friends. It's just very funny because The Rock's like 6'5".
You can still tell The Rock wants to blow his brains out here.
Yeah, The Rock. I think The Rock.
No, he wants to
stop
kill
working.
himself. It's very obvious.
I know it. Or
it's not even. I'm not even riding off of this rumor. I of course am.
I think
but
you should go for
if no one told me that he was super depressed, I would know.
Yeah, you go to Rock and be like, "What's wrong, buddy?"
4 foot.
Why are you so shredded? Might be the roids, dude.
He lives in a prison of his itinerary, apparently.
Hey, you actually have
He's
me
eating
sold
French
on
toast
it.
and
Listen,
drinking tequila.
everybody,
All right, let's get to
everybody
fucking-
looks really chipper, John. I
Let's
love
get
your.
to-
This is John's version of
John's-
hot ones.
This
you
is
know?
the John hour.
Yeah, John's endorphin corner with The Rock and fucking Kevin Hart.
What's wrong with endorphins, dude?
No, everything's right about endorphins. It's just, sometimes things fail to boost the endorphin. I love those. The Gator Light. Fucking, I cannot quit
I've
those.
had. It's,
I
it's
keep
not
doing
even.
ads by accident for companies that aren't paying me.
It's not even my. I don't like the flavor.
I don't
It's
love
just-
lemon
it's a
lime. It's
zero.
a bit undignified. It's a bit
zero.
trashy.
It's always there. It's always there for me. What I like to do is I get my electrolytes in, then I drink my water.
Strawberry kiwi is a strong one. Anyways,
I don't like strawberry as a flavor.
Jonah Hill and his girlfriend are in a battle.
Let's go.
I didn't want to talk about this, okay? I did not want to entertain this story as a worthy one. But who are we? If not
Well, I didn't want to talk about it either, and then I started reading the text, and I was like, "Whoa!"
Oh, did you? When did you start reading this? Okay,
right when I came here, right when I was
really?
upstairs.
What-
You're prepping.
Did you see the main one? You saw the main text?
Yeah.
Because she's been on a posting spree all day. If you look
Yeah.
at her Instagram right now,
You can tell
she
he's.
is.
I have my
she is
opinions
out of her
about
mind.
Jonah Hill's mental state, and then I have opinions. I mean, obviously, she's out of her.
Oh my God, there's more. There's more. Since
She
I
fell
last
off the
looked.
goddamn crazy tree and hit every branch on the way down, if you know what I mean.
The woman's batshit crazy.
Yeah.
Okay, she said she was bipolar. We kind of all figured, yeah, you're a little nuts, right? But
Yeah.
we didn't. The first screenshot that dropped, okay, was the one that made him look. It was. She thought it was a kill shot, right? She thought like this is the one. It's gonna make him look crazy. If she would have just dropped that one screenshot, the
Yeah.
world would be on her side, and
Yeah.
she could surf off into that good night. But
Yeah.
she no longer can because she got too crazy. She was too she took an inch or what is it?
You take it. You
take an inch,
give an
she
inch.
let-
You take a mile.
I didn't know how to apply that to this. I do know the
well,
saying.
she doesn't know. There's no brakes on her train.
Exactly.
She has no trigger discipline.
She did not stop for days and days. She's like, no. I need to post every conversation we've ever had. I need to just doom post all day on Instagram. And it's so strange because she's saying that she's taking her story back. I guess this couple, her name is Sarah Brady. All right. She's a surfer from SoCal, I assume. And Jonah, I guess, slid in those DMs a little while back.
I'm sure he
few
met
years
her.
ago.
He's always surfing up in Malibu. You know.
He slid into her DMs.
Oh, really?
Because
Okay.
he saw a picture of her in the surfing in this,
Yeah.
as a surfer.
She was
She's
attracted by the same thing he was disgusted by later on. Which is a very common thing in relationships. What usually attracts you to somebody is something that you want to
No,
turn.
I've been seeing TikToks about this, specifically that she's been posting on her story. And it does seem like there's a kernel of truth in that. The very thing that attracts you to the woman in the first place is often what makes you repulsed
It's
by
not
them.
just a woman, it's
and
men,
vice
too.
versa. Yeah, vice
Yeah.
versa. So you
And-
could be really, lured in by some characteristic of somebody or, a physical attribute like he was. And then pretty soon your insecurities kind of
what
get in the
you-
way of that.
What you want to do is when you're attracted to somebody, right? You're attracted to them because they usually find you find in them what's missing in you, and you realize that what they can do is complete you, and you can become one complete individual. You know what I mean?
Interesting. That's
and
an
then
interesting-
But what usually happens is that thing that's missing in you.
Mm-hmm.
You want to turn that person into you after a long time, so you begin resenting that thing that attracted you to them in the first
Say that again,
place.
that last part. The thing that you
The
liked
thing
about...
you ultimately want to make your partner more like you. So ultimately, you're attracted to usually your opposite. You're attracted to what's missing in yourself.
Is that usually the case?
I think it's a spectrum. So like I'm sure there's some people who like go far and they're like I'm a fucking introvert that likes to be in the library 24/7 and I'm going to fall in love with someone who's always out and going to clubs. Because
Okay.
I want to be more like that person. And then you get pissed off at them because they're always out and they always want to go to clubs and you just want to hang out at the library and you wish they could go hang out at the library more with you. So that's how resentment builds and but it's like you have to, I think the true key to a loving relationship is learning to just accept the things that you want to change about somebody, not trying to change someone too much.
Accept the things you want to change about somebody, but not
Yeah.
trying to act on
People
those.
will inevitably become more like their partner no matter what. you will always kind of mesh and like you will always kind of mesh.
They end up
start,
looking like them often.
Yeah, you'll
That's what I
start dressing
find.
a little bit like them.
You ever see the couples where I'm like, you guys look like siblings?
Well,
What does that say about the human psyche?
That's always odd to me. I've seen couples
but it's
like
very common. You'll see a married couple that looks the same. And often when I was waiting tables, I would realize, I'm about to start again. I would realize that they would order the same. And very specific things, right? So you actually end up changing your palate. You know that somebody made a sacrifice and changed something somewhere where it's like, oh, you both want no mustard on your burger and no lettuce, but you want everything else. It's like very
That's
strange.
odd. That's weird.
But I would get that a lot.
But I've been, like I'll
creatures
introduce
of habit.
What happened? Oh, my fucking going back to barbecue Doritos. Me and my girlfriend went to Joshua
it
Tree.
always goes back to barbecue.
Me and my girlfriend went to
Doritos.
Joshua Tree, and it's like I'm like, hey, have you tried the new barbecue Dorito chip? And she's like, no. And then she tries it. She's like, it's the best fucking potato chip ever made, or excuse me, corn chip ever made. And
Big difference.
now she's every once in a while she I think she hit me up the other day, so I got a bag of barbecue Dorito chips.
You don't do that to her. Why are you doing that to her? Don't do that to her. What's wrong with you?
I love to cook.
That's not cooking.
Well, yeah, I love to introduce people to things.
To poison?
It's
one thing when you bring a tangy ketchup Dorito chip up here to me. She's your partner. Have a little respect.
She's not eating them as often as me.
And you said she does the same thing as me, where we just eat non-fat yogurt, Greek yogurt out of the big jar.
Yeah,
like
you guys.
a big,
Well,
big,
I think
I do drink yogurt as well, but I kefir, but I eat non-fat
I think
yogurt
women can just
all
go
day long
flavorless
sometimes.
more than men. But
Well,
maybe
you
I
want
just like
flavorless because you don't want the sugar in it.
Yeah,
You're
yeah.
avoiding the sugar. Also, I'm Iranian. We put yogurt in everything, so it's fine.
But like introducing your partner to something that they also like, and then they start eating it. I think having the same burger
Who the
order
fuck
is
wouldn't
fucking
like
weird.
a Dorito or a barbecue chip,
Yeah, but
John?
I'm just saying it's like a spectrum.
anybody would like
I'm
that.
just saying it's like a spectrum. Like having
Sounds
the
like
same
you're a
burger
fucking
order.
abuser like Jonah Hill.
I'm a feeder.
You're a
I'm a
fucking
toxic feeder.
Yeah. You're so insecure that people like her that you have to pump a bunch of Doritos in her so that she becomes a
Dude,
fucking
women do that shit
vat of lard that no one's attracted to anymore, including you.
I'm a feeder.
Yeah.
No, I think
You're trying to break her down.
No, dude. I'm fucking giving her a Dorito.
I'm gonna text her and tell her to release the screenshots.
Release the screenshots.
Dude, drop the screenshots. No, it's fucked up.
Babe, my boundaries are you have to eat barbecue
You gotta
Dorito
set some
chips every
fucking
day.
boundaries, dude.
And you know what? Eat barbecue Dorito chips.
How about
every
I set
day.
a boundary right now? No more fun chips up here. Okay, no more fun chips in the house.
Ida's
It's
banned me
too
from shitting in
tempting.
the house, and she's banned me from bringing
I
snacks.
banned you from shitting.
It's not going to be a ban that sticks.
Have
by
you guys
the way.
talked about that on Hate Watch or something about me? I feel like because I get really angry at you guys right before you record because somebody
so.
inevitably has to take like just a horrific dump upstairs.
It's really funny.
Drives me fucking. It actually
Ida
makes
goes
my
nuts.
blood boil.
Ida
dude.
goes fucking
I can't even
nuts.
hold it in. I'm unhinged at this point. Last
but,
time it was Joey, but usually you're the culprit.
Why? Oh yeah, no. Well, the thing is, keep in mind, I have a longer drive than Joey, so I actually get out of work. I have maybe a 5-minute longer drive than Joey, so more time has passed between me being out without access to a toilet. But usually I shit in the morning. This is too much.
It's crazy. Actually,
Let's get into Jonah Hill. What
Jonah
did he
Hill,
talk?
Yeah. So he's. I'm 100% on his side, 1,000%, and I do think that he's a bit of a therapy fag. Okay.
Dude,
but
I thought
don't
I was
hold
the
that
biggest-
against every Hollywood
Dude.
retard. It's like you make that much money and that much fame early on, you're going to be a fag in some regard. He fetishizes therapy, which is a malady that many men in today's age, young men especially, fall prey to, and not one that I condone because I think it's extremely off-putting. I think it's extremely overly sensitive, and I don't think that I don't think any habit where a man or woman habitually pathologizes every single problem they have in their life and attributes it to some form of trauma or some sort of like deep-seated thing that they need to work through or some buzzword that their therapist, who themselves is trying to make a profit here, has injected into their brain and into their psyche in a way that is so it's so difficult to remove these notions after they've already been put in your brain, which is interesting because I'm like, you're an adult, right? A therapy's telling you buzzwords. Shouldn't something in your head go off and be like, well, I'm giving this person money, and I know their job is they're not sitting there, they're not some fucking scam artist, okay? They went to school, they have a PhD, I understand that, but why is therapy an ongoing thing always? Why is there never a point that anybody reaches where they're like, all right, I'm in a good place? And why is it, I get it, you're trying to keep up with your mental health, no judgment, but when you start using the terminology and weaponizing it in your relationships with people, which she is doing more than he is, and she's projecting all of the qualities that she clearly possesses, narcissism, BPD, bipolar, whatever it might be, mania, generalized mania, insecurities that she herself clearly has more than he does. Because he might be insecure that he used to be fat, like big fucking whoop. He used to be fat, right?
Yeah.
And obviously
he was always getting pussy. Don't give me that.
Yeah,
shit.
Dude.
Like, come on,
Enough.
You're always getting
you know
good
what?
pussy.
You know
Get
why I
outta
don't
here.
have much sympathy for him, and I have a lot of sympathy for him now because these screenshots. Nobody should have to go through what he's going through right now. With some people get bombed in parts of the world, but aside from that, nobody deserves to have their personal text just blasted this way.
Chemical Ali should have never had his personal text leaked on the internet.
Who is that?
He was the guy who was
Chemical Ali?
Saddam Hussein's like lead gasser. But yeah, continue.
Is that a nickname?
That was his name.
That's a cute nickname.
Chemical Ali.
Is that his rap name?
It sounds like a fucking. Because you think of the Chemical Brothers from England.
I'm thinking of My Chemical Romance.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. And so I'm thinking about the chemicals that these people are getting prescribed constantly. So I don't know exactly. His problem. He came out with that docu-series about his shrink who's Stutz, I think it was called, on Netflix, and it's basically a black and white documentary. I think it's like multiple episodes where he interviews his counselors, psychiatrists, whatever, which is kind of inappropriate, I think, like in terms of what the nature of their relationship should be.
Even be interviewed in a public forum like that.
Exactly, and they really shouldn't be talking about themselves at length. There was a Vice article detailing why this isn't exactly like a good thing necessarily,
that sounds like it would ruin a psychiatrist's career. Being public like that,
or perhaps it gave him one. I don't know. He already had one, but listen, and it was interesting because the psychiatrist was very interesting, and I didn't watch the whole thing, but I watched a good bit of it where I was ready to hate it. I was ready to hate every single thing about it because I thought the idea of like doing a documentary about your therapist is like this sounds like the fucking everything I would hate. Everything I would hate.
It sounds incredibly gay.
I do like Jonah Hill. I've always liked Jonah Hill, and even when he turned into a fag, I still liked him. Even when he decided to start surfing in Malibu and acting like, he has, the blonde highlights, I think the blonde highlights look good on him. I think he looks fucking good. And I've said this before. I used to have a huge crush on Jonah Hill. When I was younger.
How many girls like Jonah Hill after Superbad was crazy.
I was obsessed with him.
That was my literal
I loved him.
As a fat man growing up, that was a funny fat guy. I was like, wait, this is possible. I remember I left Superbad.
Oh, I was so attracted to him. I'm dead serious. And I actually was way more attracted to him then than I ever would be now because he's
charismatic. He's funny.
He's extremely funny, dude. Extremely charismatic and exuded the utmost confidence to where I would have never known that he had all these insecurities. And when you find that out, it actually becomes less attractive. So yeah, that initial text that dropped, let's just read it for everybody. I'm sure everyone's read it 1,000 different times. I'm sure SNL is doing some terrible fucking sketch about it. Actually, they probably won't. Jonah Hill text, but she released 1 million more texts, and every single one of the following texts just made her look like a psychopath even more. Which I don't think there's really any justification you
should never put your partner on blast like that.
No,
even if she was just a normal person.
Put his career on
even
at
if she
risk
had
like this.
Fucking 600 followers on Instagram and all that shit. It's crazy.
It's clear.
And what he's doing is what he's doing. He's being a fucking dick. But like the thing is like
he made Kanye like Jews. Can everybody relax?
Yeah, he's being a dick. But like you shouldn't ruin his. That's crazy to do.
Kanye does like Jews.
I
never believed
the thing about
fake anti-Semitism.
As a man, it's always like you'll hear stories of other men where you're like, oh god, that guy's a fucking. I would never be like that guy. And then sometimes I was like, oh man, I'm the biggest fucking homo on earth, like mentally. And then I read this and I was like, wow, this is unhinged. I'm so happy I'm not this fucking guy.
No, because it's a crazy. It's actually insane.
All right, do you want to read it or do you want me to read it?
Upstairs, I did. If you need surfing with men, boundaryless, inappropriate friendships with men. This is actually starting from the beginning. He wrote basically his list of needs, okay?
Or his boundaries.
His boundaries.
Yeah.
Plain and simple. If you need surfing with men, boundaryless, is that a word? Boundaryless, inappropriate friendships with men, to model, to post pictures of yourself in a bathing suit, to post sexual pictures. And of course, keep in mind, she's a semi-professional surfer. Friendships with women who are in unstable places and from your wild recent past, whatever that means, what a loaded, beyond getting a lunch or coffee or something respectful. I'm not the right partner for you. If these things bring you to a place of happiness, I support it, and there will be no hard feelings. These are my boundaries. These are my boundaries. I thought he said if these things don't bring you to a place of, he says if these things bring you to a place of happiness, I support it, and there will be no hard feelings. These are my boundaries for a romantic partnership. My boundaries with you based on the ways these actions have hurt our trust. Okay. So that seems out of context really crazy, okay? And in context, it's still kind of crazy.
Yeah, it's very she's
extremely controlling.
She's a semi-professional surfer. All these surfer chicks,
no bathing suit photos. Please stop.
They fucking surf in thong bikinis. They're
Show
gonna do
off your hot wife.
Yeah, they're in Costa Rica. They're in fucking Hawaii. And listen, buddy, if your girlfriend's a fucking surfer, she's gonna be hanging out with studs all fucking day long. You gotta understand that.
Namely, you, Jonah.
The worst thing you can do.
You're the coolest one of everybody. So I don't know what you would have to be insecure about. Even after the interview came out where, I think he got a tattoo about his like fat journey, which to me
I
was
have a tattoo
just
about
like,
my fat journey.
Oh God,
it's
stop.
the snake. It's the snake on my arm. It was me shedding my fat is the same way this diamondback rattlesnake sheds its skin. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
That's
you
why
lost weight the same way that cobra ate like a human being.
I didn't get this dope tattoo because it looks sick as fuck. I got it because it represents my fat journey, dude.
Yeah, he had to gayify it for. Yeah, he's like, how can I make this, this supposedly really hard tribal thing the most fucking faggy thing about me? Well, the thing is it's he dude, I was looking at her stories all day today, like.
She's on Hinge.
Not all day, but
what else is she doing? What's her name?
Look her up, Sarah Brady on Instagram. She has a plethora of more screenshots that she's been posting over the past 3 days.
Brady bunch of
bullshit. She keeps posting these TikToks about people talking about abusive relationships. Let me just play one of them that's on her story that you're gonna just be beside yourself, dude. There's so many she posted. She reposted a guy on TikTok who's, I guess, well known for being an aware narcissistic personality disorder guy. And he like explains, it's this really meta form of narcissism, John, where this guy who's been diagnosed with NPD, narcissistic personality disorder, goes on TikTok, talks about what people with his diagnosis do, okay? And basically tries to explain his narcissism and explain narcissism in general to a bunch of other people, which to me is so narcissistic. Like, that's the path you chose. I love she reposts this fat girl saying, like, in response to Jonah Hill, this is what insecure men should have to listen to from this girlfriend. As this, like, fat girl is being like, see, babe, would you be mad at me for going out like this? He's like, no. And I'm like, yeah, it's because you're fucking fat.
Dude, my fucking uncle was, like, fucking Army Ranger in Vietnam, and I have a picture of him and his wife in the fucking 80s at like Disneyland, and my aunt is dressed insane. My aunt, oh my god, she's dressed.
Let him hang.
My uncle's out there just like, he can kill every man there at his bare hands. That's sick as fuck.
Yeah,
that's dope.
Now, I dress more conservatively usually because I choose to, but I reserve the right at any time to change that. And in fact, I might if I feel the need to. That's what I'm saying. Like, I would never, ever allow anybody I'm with to dictate what I'm wearing, who I'm seeing, any of that stuff. And if you're with someone that really is... Now, of course, there's certain relationships that are inappropriate to have when you're in a relationship with somebody, but there should be a level of trust between the couple. And if that doesn't exist, then clearly you are in the wrong relationship. Like, that just should be...
There's weird things that I think are, like, inappropriate, but there's also, like, a lot of things that, like, again, if your chick is a fucking professional surfer, she's gonna be hanging out with jacked, tan, fucking stud dudes that are cool as shit, that have long hair, that are probably fucking modeling themselves.
And none of them are Jonah Hill.
And none of them
will ever be as funny or as cool as you.
They're gonna be
honestly.
That's the thing you gotta realize.
Even with all the things they can do, like physically,
they
don't hold a candle to you if you're Jonah Hill. Are they playing a guy in Wolf of Wall Street? Are they doing the fucking? Are they doing the yellowtail scene with Leonardo DiCaprio? No, they're not.
None of them have your fucking money. They're all living in the back of a a fucking van, a fucking pickup truck.
And the money is kind of besides the point to me.
Which is actually pretty, they're fucking, if you're going down to Costa Rica, these guys are studs, okay?
They're studs, but he has talent. And to me, that transcends any good look. Like, it just does.
Yeah.
If you're a talented guy, why do you think Marilyn Monroe fucking married Arthur Miller and still felt like she wasn't good enough for him? She's Marilyn Monroe.
Women's attraction, again, like Jonah Hill in Superbad was hot. Women, like guys, one of the weird things about guys, and this is still something I fucking have problems grasping to this day, is like men think women are attracted to men the way they're attracted to women, and it couldn't be more opposite.
Sometimes yes.
Sometimes yes. You'll see, of course, you'll see like a stud where you're just like, I'm sure women will see a guy who's like really hot, and you'll be like, oh my God, that guy's hot.
Yeah,
but like,
it has
there's
an
a
effect
whole,
on us. Don't get it twisted.
There's other times where like a woman will have, you'll see a guy, you're like, how the fuck did he score her?
Right.
And it's like, yeah, he's probably fucking cool.
There's
as
something
shit.
in the personality. There's a charm. There's something about him.
Fucking Bill Murray.
Often there's an inexplicable quality about somebody that attracts you to them more than even the looks. And I think that's actually the case with men too. I think a lot of times men are attracted to women that maybe are unconventionally attractive, because men actually don't even know what is aesthetically good looking on an objective level. Like, they're not looking at is it physiognomy or
physicality?
No, there's the G is actually, you pronounce the G.
Okay.
I think physiognomy sounds normal, but whatever. Anyways, they're not looking at the angles. They're not looking at the canthal tilt of your face, or they're not looking at your bone structure.
Unless they're incels and they're like fucking...
Right. They're not going to look at you like an Excel spreadsheet. They're just going to look at you and say like, oh, she looks good enough. Like I saw like 4 guys send me fucking a link that I look like this bitch with a ponytail on a flight that was like wrapping saran wrap around her like area.
Oh, that chick?
I was so fucking,
did not look
I
like
wanted
that
to block
girl.
them all.
Yeah,
I was like, because of ponytail, so all you see when you look at me is a ponytail?
Yeah.
You think I look like that fucking? I mean, she was fucking fat. I was horrified. I wanted to slit my wrists. It's like 4 different guys telling me I look like this psychotic bitch.
I remember
on
when
an
I
airplane.
was like fucking my second real job, I was working at a kiosk at the Glendale Galleria.
Yeah, I remember.
And I remember there was a woman who worked at Zales, and she was a big girl.
Yeah.
She must have been in her 30s, and I remember she looked like fucking, her face was like Selena Gomez, and she had like perfect skin. And she always dressed really well.
Fat didn't show on her
face. Every
That's
fucking
nice.
guy that worked, she had a chunky face.
Oh, okay.
She was like chubby Selena Gomez. Every guy at that fucking mall was just like, she's so goddamn beautiful.
Really?
And, oh my God, we'd all whisper amongst each other, just like, oh my God, there's Zales gals here. It was crazy. So like, I guess it does work sometimes, and it's like,
So, and they're not chubby chasers?
No, dude.
How big was she though?
She was big, bro.
Well, if her face was really that good, then yeah, sometimes it can transcend.
She was tall.
I see.
Yeah.
Evenly distributed.
Yeah.
But I don't know, dude. The Jonah Hill thing, it's disappointing finding out that a guy with this much charisma, this much success, this many reasons to ostensibly be fulfilled, although it's never that simple, it has such basic rudimentary problems with confidence and being a secure person. And it depresses you, because I'm like, you would think a guy like that, endless resources, endless money, and not enough therapy in the world.
Well, dude, it's like you hang out with Brad Pitt and Leonardo DiCaprio.
Yeah, like, what
those
are we
guys are your
doing here?
fucking homies. And part of like you're like, wait,
That's
you're
gotta
worried
be
about your girl
crazy.
running off with some surfer?
Yeah, I'd be worried about who the fuck you're banging, because you can get anybody you want.
Yeah. You're
Get
fucking chilling
anybody.
with Brad, dude.
Yeah, dude.
You got his phone number, probably. If any of those
Of
guys,
course he does.
dude, he not only Jonah
And
Hill,
they're
you walk
texting
on-
him because
Dude.
they think he's the funny, talented one.
You fucking show up to that clam bake, that fucking bonfire on the beach, and your girl's
Yeah.
hanging out with 7 studly dudes with long hair, and they're all jacked, and they want to talk to her, and you're like, oh my God, just fucking show up with Brad Pitt.
Dude,
No, those guys are friends of Brad Pitt.
listen, first of all, this girl's not worthwhile, okay? I looked at, once you see someone post enough stories on Instagram, you kind of get an idea of who they are on some level. I'm not saying it reveals everything. Obviously, social media doesn't, but it does reveal maybe some mental health issues that they have, and she's out of her mind. Everything she's accusing him of is clearly a projection of what she feels about herself deep down.
They're both projecting like
The
crazy on each other, yeah.
narcissism, the crazy insecurities. Obviously, she's very insecure that he moved on so quickly, because she sent a lot of revealing texts. She posted a bunch of revealing screenshots today about her own, I would say, transgressions in this, in this back and forth that they're having. I can't believe I'm taking any of this seriously. There's just nothing. Everyone just cares about this story right now. But I'm taking Jonah Hill's story back for him, okay? He needs somebody to defend him.
Honestly, this is like Amber Heard, Johnny Depp light.
It's
to
fun.
Me.
It's fun.
But it's like
Am I
God,
going to
both
keep
these
talking
people
about
seem
NATO? I'd rather
insufferable.
fucking slit my wrist than talk a little bit more about NATO.
Both these people seem
God.
insufferable. They
Just
both seem
blow
like
us
they
up
should never.
while we're talking about Jonah Hill, so we can be none the
Jonah
wiser
Hill.
to any of your fucking weird things you're conspiring with war criminals. I don't know what I'm saying anymore. Anyways, so she posted a bunch of stuff today about more screenshots about how angry she was when they were. So Jonah Hill and her broke up, okay, because he wasn't having his needs met in like
His boundaries
his
are being
rules.
violated.
Yes, his rules are being violated,
Yeah.
and it's like you could have insane.
Can I be real quick with you real quick though?
Yeah.
Looking at that list of boundaries, I know this dude has there's two wolves inside Jonah Hill, right? One wolf is I'm a liberal, sensitive fucking guy and I'm a pussy. And the other wolf is I've
Wolf
seen
of Wall
I've seen a
Street?
couple
Sorry.
Andrew Tate reels, and I need to tell this bitch she can't hang out with any men. And I gotta
don't
be
think
a man.
so.
No, I guarantee you that's
Well,
what
all
it
the
is.
shit she was posting today was about how he's not a real feminist and he needs to hang out with real feminists. And it's like, bitch, you're not a real feminist. You're a narcissist, okay? Who's
Yeah.
upset that you didn't get the ring, all right? Some other chick got the ring
Wait,
and
did he
had
break
his
up with
baby.
her?
No, they broke up because, I don't know. I guess it was mutual, whatever. His demands weren't met. I don't
Yeah.
know. What do you want me to say? Okay, do I agree with him? No.
Yeah.
Can he do that? Yes. Okay, and he did. And he's like, all right, you weren't willing to meet me halfway, whatever, with whatever I needed. So they moved on, but they had a post-breakup friendship, right? Which never works. Let me just say that.
Yeah, it's silliness.
This idea that you're going to be friends after you end it, maybe years down the line, okay? But not immediately.
Yeah.
And if you think you can do that, it's not true. You're trying to extend the relationship in some weird way while still being like, I'm standing my ground, I'm single, but I care about him. And yeah, you can care about somebody enough that you realize that you have to cut contact with them in order for both of you guys to move on in a healthy way.
Post-breakup friendships is an Olympic to see who can fuck other people for long
Faster.
enough before the other one is terrified and comes crawling back, and you get that juice in your head.
And
where
that's
like,
exactly
they came
what this
back
was.
To me. They fucking came back to me.
That's exactly what this was. And so he told her, hey, out of respect for our friendship, because we've been friends after we broke up, I'm just letting you know that there's a tabloid that caught me kissing another girl on the beach.
Oh, well,
And the
why is he
tabloid
texting her?
mistakenly said that Jonah Hill with girlfriend Sarah Brady, but it wasn't her. It was some other girl. So apparently she's like, well, I wouldn't have even known if you didn't tell me. I looked into
pissed.
it. And she got really pissed and really heated and said, like, I thought there
That's
was
him being like, look at me, I'm moving on.
maybe. But
That's totally it, dude.
maybe, but she was saying,
need to tell her that
I don't know,
shit.
because the more
didn't need to tell her
well, listen,
that
I thought that at first too, but then she kept posting more screenshots. So I was like, all right. And then within more context, you kind of realize like, no, he was just, I think, trying to be respectful and be like, listen, you're going to see maybe a story about this at some point that I was seen kissing somebody. But yeah, I have moved on. I'm dating somebody else. And, you know,
Relax, Jonah.
whatever, dude. And she fucking flipped her lid and she was really upset.
bragging.
And she posted all these screenshots. So I don't know. They're all going to
I
disappear,
feel
I guess,
so
by the time
gay
this
right
comes
now.
out.
I'm like Jonah Hill. is
Jonah
fucking-
Hill and his girlfriend. I feel like Wendy Williams right now.
I'm like the blonde dude on TNG.
But it is interesting because these dynamics exist in a lot of relationships. And I'm not somebody that really talks about relationships on here or like anything like this ever.
Yeah.
But like it's interesting, you know, talking about these because it's so fucking public. She outed him. She's threatening his entire career.
This
and
isn't going to affect
livelihood.
him at all.
No, of course it
Yeah.
is.
No, he's not going to lose any jobs because of this.
Oh, I see what you mean. I just
he's
mean
like best
emotionally.
friends
it
with
would- it
Leonardo
would've-
DiCaprio, dude.
No,
Like,
I
he's not
know,
gonna-
but
he's not gonna lose
emotionally,
work
this
'cause
is
of
a
this.
huge hit to someone's
Yeah.
spirit. Like, and it's going to take an already fragile man who's become really fragile because
Yeah.
of the media and whatever his job, and it's just going to further. You know, it just makes you not want to trust anybody, which I totally get in his position, not wanting to trust anybody that does you like this. My point is that you don't do this. You don't blackmail people, okay? But everyone falls prey to blackmail.
Yeah.
Bill Gates fell prey to blackmail. Everybody falls prey to it, and I guess Jonah Hill did too, because that's what it takes when you decide to be vulnerable enough with somebody, especially somebody that's not in the spotlight. Because sometimes I think if you're in the spotlight, you understand each other's like the boundaries, if you will, of privacy and how not to breach them, because it's shitty to do that. You know, and I don't know. I guess I just think like when I read about this, I just get very sad for him, even though he has, become a total like gay in his feelings guy who I still think is like a unique talent. And it's disrespectful. If you have any respect for talent, you don't blackmail people like this. You just don't. And I respect talent a lot. I also respect morality. But you don't fucking do this to people.
It's not, he's fucking...
Or respect for a human being. Sorry, I'm just looking at it because I just think I think he's so talented.
You don't respect the silence. You don't respect the artist.
Well, because...
You're like that little Jewish guy in New York slamming his bag on the floor.
I know, but it's like, you know what it is? It's like... Bing Crosby's music has brought so much joy to. I look at it in a very utilitarian way. If somebody's really talented, that often means, and often if they're a public figure, if they're really talented, that means that a lot of people have connected with their work, and there's a lot of resonance in that. And it's selfish to take the idea that somebody has of a public figure that they relate to so much or that they like so much and to tarnish it with the truth. The truth sucks.
I'm going to bite back on this. I
don't want to know that Bing Crosby was a wife beater. I don't want to know that. I just want to listen to I'll Be Home for Christmas.
Yeah.
Do you know what Let me have that. Let me have that.
Well, if you're listening, I'll Be Home at Christmas. And you
I'll Be Home at Christmas and I'm going to bash your face in. Yeah, I don't want to hear that.
Shoving fucking pool balls into a pillowcase and beating his kids with it.
Yeah.
And it's like, I don't know. I know.
I'll be home for Christmas. I'm going to get you. Like, I don't want that.
Home for Christmas. It's okay. But what's the next text?
Home for Christmas.
What do we got?
Yeah. So the boundaries. I just think when someone is so talented and someone that means they've brought so much joy to people. Why ruin that? Why ruin that? Because every human is fallible. Everybody makes mistakes. I don't think blackmail is an appropriate course of action. I don't think talking shit publicly about people that you know in real life, while it might be fun to do and it might, raise some endorphins and get our follower count up, I just don't find it to be a classy thing to do. I don't think, I think it means you never cared about the person really in the first place. You're completely disregarding their happiness and their joy out of some narcissistic need for validation or attention. And she's saying, I wanted to do this because I wanted to help the girl he's with now, because it's like, that could have been me. I could have been pregnant with this child. It's like, yeah, you wish you were. Like, you wish... You're pissed that he knocked someone else up and not you, on the pretense that you're going to have some big career, and then that didn't really pan out the way you wanted it to. And maybe now you think it will because you have so many followers for all the wrong reasons, huh?
He has a kid now, right?
Yeah, with this new girl.
Wait, he just had a kid with he broke up with her and then immediately had a kid with another woman?
I guess it doesn't look great, huh?
That's crazy.
I don't know if he said to her, I want a family. And she wasn't really trying to do that because she was younger and wanted a career. And I relate to that. I get it. And, so he, I guess, moved on. And that shit kind of happens, though. People move on. It's okay to move on. And he wanted to have a family. And I guess, how old is Jonah Hill? I mean, maybe
he's in his 30s.
Maybe he wanted to do it earlier rather than later.
He's got money. He can have a family.
Yeah, it's like, why not? Have a kid. Maybe you didn't even plan it. Maybe it just kind of happened that way.
Dad to be fucking...
He's 39, It doesn't
Jesus
really matter.
Christ, he's 39? Yeah, have a fucking kid. What are you doing? How old is she?
25, I think. 26.
Jonah.
It's not that crazy.
It's not that crazy, but if you want kids, you shouldn't be fucking getting in relations with 25-year-olds.
Well, some 25-year-olds are down to just become moms.
Yeah, you just got to go
for their.
Yeah, that's wild.
Yeah. But anyways, it's it's unfortunate. It's unfortunate that Jonah Hill can't live his best life without being fucking. Look, he looks really good here, actually. Damn.
Yeah, he looks nice.
Without being, blackmailed, and I like the blonde locks on him. Actually,
he looks like shit there. Jesus.
No, I don't think so at all. I think he looks good.
Go up. Let me see his top.
I can't. The fucking Google Images doesn't work, dude. Why is it not? I like his hair like that. Listen, I think he's a talented, good-looking, cool guy, and all of the text that happened after that initial one that she posted actually just made her look really bad, and I don't know why she continued to post them, but she kept posting back really, cringeworthy DMs she was having with other people, other women, and she was saying, I just want to help that girl because it's like, if I can just help one person through my story, then it was all worth it, and I'm like, yeah, help one person, destroy a guy's career that you should have some allegiance to because of the fact that you guys were together and shared memories and hopefully some love at some point, which I guess is now null and void after everything you've done to betray him. You know, it's extremely narcissistic to be so hung up over the fact that the guy you were with, who is a very famous A-list celebrity, moved on quickly. I understand that that's hurtful, as did he. He acknowledged that as well. And, that it wasn't you, and that, you're stuck in between, this idea that you're going to be a professional surfer and like have your own career, and that's fine. Or maybe a lawyer. I don't know what she's doing. She's like doing something. But, and seeing that he's moved on, it probably is hurtful, but you have to rise above. To rise above the angry emotions and realize that publicly betraying him and dragging him through the mud with a bunch of screenshots is an extremely low, immature, and narcissistic thing to do. And extremely,
it's also going to guarantee you're never going to date a guy like Jonah Hill again.
Ever again.
Never did.
Ever again. Massive red flag. And so this is one of the TikToks. She kept reposting TikToks of people. She's clearly just on the internet right now, every second of every day, just looking at what everyone's posting and pretending to be just like, hell hath no fury like a woman scorned. I mean, truly. But she is, God, there's more stories. It never ends.
Yeah, she's going balls to the wall right now.
Bro, I mean, it's like, have a little fucking respect. Like, enough. How many of
Oh
these
my God,
can you
dude.
watch?
If I could have one wish for him, it would be that he is surrounded by feminist men who can hold him accountable to
That's
grow
what I was
in the
reading.
ways he has expressed he wants to.
Yeah,
I hope these
what?
feminist men get on their knees and they all suck each other off. I think fame can put people in an echo chamber of viewpoints which can enable emotionally abusive behavior. What do you mean? It's surrounded
I
by...
guess so can a lack of fame, and
Listen.
that's why you're doing this? I don't know.
Listen, maybe this is a true text because my seventh ring of hell would be me being surrounded by feminist men who can hold me accountable to
I don't even know
grow in
what
the
that
ways I
means.
express I want to.
Right.
First
what
of
the hell
all-
does that even mean? Who are those men?
A bunch of cucks.
Hassan Minaj?
Yeah, oh my God.
Who do you want there?
Fucking
Some other
Hassan
fake
Minaj.
feminist?
Jonah Hill still complete.
She's posting the voice memos back and forth. She's fucking unhinged, dude, this woman. This is crazy. She's also saying, I love Fox News because they're the only ones that did my story any justice. I was very surprised. They did a beautiful job with my story. Your story.
The funny thing
Who
is
invites the press like this? You're disgusting. You're a disgusting human being.
she's posting these like, I told the truth. That's not slander or libel. And it's like, anyone can sue anyone for anything.
Right.
And a good lawyer will, like, what do you think? Like, your friends, your fucking hippie friends know more than whatever lawyer Jonah Hill can, like, fucking afford.
Right.
You are, yeah.
Yeah, it's pathetic. So she posted, she's even posting parodies about it. Some of the TikToks she reposted really blew my mind. Here's one of them. Oh, God.
I'm not saying that Jonah Hill is a narcissist, but apparently his ex-girlfriend thinks so. You don't seem to get it, but that's not my place to teach you. Pretty much.
Can't people just call it for what it is? He's a former fat guy who's a little insecure, okay?
Yeah.
And honestly, who can blame him? With the amount of fucking attention the media is probably unwanted attention the media is paid towards him, or just kind of destroying your ego. Now, his mistake was in showing it and being honest about that with the rest of us. We didn't need to know that it was affecting you the way it was. I don't like that. That's part of this whole problem here is we don't need to know that him moving on is affecting her. We don't need to know that him formerly being fat and no longer fat is still affecting him. We don't need to know everybody's mental maladies all the time. And this over pathologizing and this fetishization of like therapy and therapy talk and therapy verbiage and boundaries and communication and your journey and the healing and the trauma, it's enough already. Okay, like it's too much. How about you just submit yourself to a mental institution for the rest of your life, because that's where you'd truly be the most happy, is because you then suddenly are able to sit there and in your mind intellectualize everything that you've ever felt is wrong about you emotionally. And I just don't think that that's the answer to a healthy life. And I think it impedes the happiness of everybody around you to constantly, and it's very narcissistic to sit there and just overly, to navel gaze about every problem that you have. And to this over introspection actually lacks it's not introspective at all to sit there and constantly think you're looking inwards and trying to solve all your emotional problems when really it's too vague to solve. You just have to do other things and focus on important things and let everything else just kind of fall behind, and you'll find that those problems probably eventually kind of go away. And if they don't, whatever. But the therapy's not going to help. You're just going to be out a bunch of money at the end of the day. Like, I don't think that therapy seems to help anybody really that I know. No offense.
It's helped me a lot.
I'm none the wiser. How the hell do I know?
Yeah, I know.
I've never known you at a time where you're not in therapy. Maybe you'd be
true.
thriving in a different way.
Oh God, if you knew me fucking 5 years ago, you would hate me.
I would have loved Fat John. I loved Fat Jonah.
No. Oh, imagine. First of all, imagine the shits
I love fat gay men. I've always loved fat gay men.
Imagine the shits I was taking when I was fat.
I would have hated you.
Yeah,
I would have fucking hated you. I would have fucking beaten you with a stick.
Number two, I had like
with a carb-free loaf of bread.
I would be here so much.
What do you mean?
To hang out. I mean, and Devin were like so codependent in my early 20s.
You're codependent.
Debbie needs me.
Yeah, you guys need each other.
Yeah, no, it's very lame. But we hung out with each other.
Everyone has their needs.
But whatever. Things get old. People get older. But yeah, you would have hated me like 5 years. Oh, what the fuck? My mic stopped working 5 years ago.
Why would I have hated you though?
I was just way too extra, dude. I was me now. I'm kind of like fucking. I'm still kind of neurotic and like crazy. I was gonna say, but like,
well, how are you not extra?
Dude, I was way more fucking.
And what do you mean by
crazy.
extra?
Like,
in what way?
I was out there way more manic, fucking like crazy, like always doing stuff.
But you were bigger. How did you even have the energy?
Dude, I got all my fat stores. I'm like a seal. I would dip it. I would dip into my ribs and find some energy to be more manic. John would dip into his own stomach, take a little bit of his, a fingerful of his own lard. Yeah, and just go.
The way some people put coconut in their coffee or butter in their coffee.
That was my bulletproof coffee.
Yeah. He would sit there and eat his own fat.
Also, I would have probably, in being here, I probably would have taken like 2 or 3 shits by now.
No.
Yeah, no.
No. And food.
I would have raided your pantry every fucking night. I would have no boundaries, no respect for your food.
Oh my God. Would you do that? Like a little animal, like a hibernating bear coming out, awaking from his sleep.
It would have been gnarly.
Dude, yeah. It's I don't know. I guess you need therapy then.
Yeah, therapy's cool. It's just like I wish I could do like honestly, I was listening to this fucking podcast with this guy who was like in fucking Delta Force, and he was just like, the best way to do therapy is do like a 60-day intensive in-treatment therapy and then just like fucking get it all out and then get out and then be okay.
Yeah.
And he was like, if you're doing therapy like once a week, it's not really going to fucking do anything for you. You really just got to go somewhere where it's therapy nonstop, 60 days, and then you get out and you're good.
I don't know about that. That seems a little crazy too.
He said that, well, he wasn't, this guy's PTSD and all that stuff. So
I have no problem with therapy. I think therapy, I would try it. I mean, I'm not against trying it, but I just would hate it. I would be bored.
Yeah.
It would be boring.
You have a mind fortress that you wouldn't let a therapist in. That's the problem.
That is true. I would not let a therapist in.
You wouldn't let a therapist in. You got to be like
you got to earn your way in.
Yeah,
I pay you.
You're paying. They're earning their way in.
You should pay me.
Yeah, this is why therapy wouldn't work on you.
How narcissistic is that?
It's
Therapist should pay me for revealing anything, for having a moment of vulnerability. I find it very gay and lame to be that vulnerable to anybody.
Yeah, being vulnerable isn't gay and lame. It's like fucking,
I hate it.
It's
no,
like
I know
nice.
it's strong. It's strong.
No, it's not strong.
I think that's fake news
There's a time
too.
and place to be vulnerable. But
and therapy is the time and place.
Admitting when you're wrong is a form of vulnerability, and I think that's really important.
Absolutely.
And like fucking admitting and like standing true to your values is a really good important part of being vulnerable and being like, yeah, I actually believe this, and I'm not going to budge on this. That's a form of vulnerability.
Yeah, not blackmailing people is honorable.
People,
yeah. And she thinks she's doing some big, noble, vulnerable thing, and this is what she needs to do to heal. She's weaponizing the therapy verbiage in her favor as well, and she's not doing it very well. She's very transparent in the way that she's doing it, to me at least, because I look at that and I'm like, oh, well, clearly this is, you needed likes and engagement on your Instagram and you needed a little bit of attention. And she said, well, I purposefully waited until she had the baby before I came out with this story. And I'm like, oh, so you've been fucking plotting and scheming this whole time?
Yeah, it's crazy.
And she's like, because I know how stressful it is on the womb.
Yeah.
The womb would be so stressed, and I know all the ramifications about pregnancy. She would just be enduring hell. And I'm like, well, great. I'm glad you're putting her through hell now. Like, dude, how nice of you to wait. I know
a fucking guy whose grandmother marched from Iceland to Sweden in the winter during the fucking Russo-Finnish war, like 8 months pregnant to give birth to a child. Like,
many of them would have died though.
Yeah, but women aren't like fucking weak. She's not going to miscarry because you leaked her fucking tweets.
I do think that there is a level of stress that can have an effect on a child. I do think that.
Yeah.
But there's also a level of stress that can affect the former partners you were with, like Jonah, or like his new wife now, or what. It's just like, why are you doing this? What is the point of doing this so long after the fact?
Stressful for him too, and now you're just adding.
And now you're
it's
adding
probably a fucking nightmare right
now.
now.
Well, what's shitty to me is he was probably very vulnerable with her in a lot of ways that I think for somebody as famous as him is very difficult to do, and like it's really hard to let somebody in that
really
way.
Fucking easy for that guy to be.
Yeah, maybe because he is
like
kind
a
of
massive pussy.
It sounds like it's his favorite thing to do, apparently. But whatever. I guess some people are meant they can handle the spotlight, and he's just one of those people. Is like it's just not been fun for him for the past 10 years.
Yeah, he seems constantly depressed. He's kind of got rock energy, to be honest.
Yeah, and so I don't know. I love that we're like looking at a picture of him.
Fucking doing a double shaka. Let's get a Nemo's Dreamscape up eventually.
Yeah,
we haven't done one of those in a while.
Right now, actually, that sounds nice.
That's nice. I'm sure there's a new one.
No, but she's definitely she's literally calling him an abuser, like an actual abuser.
He's not an abuser. He's just an asshole.
No, he's just a
People keep confusing us. Like he's just a fucking asshole.
Yeah, a lot of guys are assholes. Many of them are famous, and many of them are not. Like, which one do we do? Do we do a train ride? Let's do a little train ride. I don't know. It's a little too rainy. We'll do. What do you think, John?
What's the newest one? Oh, sorry, I disassociated for a moment.
You narcissist.
No, fucking. Let's see. I always love sleeping. Wait. You're taking a nap at a picnic on the. Yeah, do some boo boo.
What?
Yeah, boo boo bear.
What's Boo Boo Bear?
Fucking boo boo bear and Yogi Bear and boo boo bear. Hey, boo boo. Yeah.
That's lovely.
Hell yeah, brother.
I love sitting here talking about the funny fat gay men in my life.
The funny fat gay men in your life?
You're one of the best, John.
Very good, Ida.
You're one of the best.
Very good, Ida.
I would never blackmail you.
I'm more woman than you'll ever. I'm more man than you'll ever get, and more woman than you'll ever be, Ida.
That's very Freudian. It is. It's very Freudian. What an admission. Mm-hmm. What an admission.
I'm all encompassing here.
John's a hermaphrodite.
No, I'm a pipe hitting motherfucker.
He's what is it? What do they call intersex? You're intersex.
I'm not intersex. I'm pansexual.
You're an autogynephile.
Dude. I'm about to go fuck a car.
He's about to He's
pansexual people crack
pansexual.
me up. Pansexual people crack me up. Wait, that's when you're just attracted to everything, right?
Yeah.
I'm like, what do you fuck a laptop?
It's the apex of mental illness as it relates to like gender sex studies, I think. Yeah.
Pansexual's fucking
pansexual. You're bored. Like you're missing you're missing like a
fuck a tree.
A core part of your identity. Thus you have to, pretend to be what is it? Pansexual. Like what?
Yeah, like pan.
Does pan mean all encompassing? Is that what pan is?
I think pan means everything.
Yeah.
These Greek terms need to end. Look at that beautiful lake. I would love to fucking, dude.
You should be able to have like pan, like pan mental illnesses.
Panamericana.
Panamania. I'm everything. I'm NPD.
I think
BPD,
everyone is everything.
Bipolar, narcissistic, manic depressive. Sometimes on the schizophrenic, spectrum, if there is one, autistic spectrum, if there is one, certainly I think there is. But yeah, you if you could just be a pan, then I think like Panamania.
I think everyone is a little bit of everything, and I don't think there's actually. I think like
I don't necessarily think
I'm
so.
no doctor, all right, but I think like actual diagnosis. I think like a diagnosis is kind of bullshit. Because, like, you could also be, like, you could have, like, ADD and, like, also be, like, fucking schizophrenic and maybe you're just
ADD,
schizoactive.
It's like,
but you
is that
ADD.
even real? I think schizophrenia is a measurable thing, right?
I'm becoming
a
Scientologist. I'm rejecting psychiatry. And I am...
okay.
I'm rejecting psychiatry. I'm going to... Dude, we should fucking... Dude... How sick
Do you want to go
would it
have
be?
lunch at the Celebrity Center? Is that what you were about to say? I knew it.
How
I fucking knew it.
sick would it be if we walked in there?
So well.
We walk in there.
I would love to go.
Oh, okay,
I bet
this is what we're gonna
fabulous.
fucking do. This is what we're gonna do, Ida. This is gonna be the first adventure for fucking the Ida Hour.
We're gonna get shellfish at the Celebrity Center.
Wait, they actually have a restaurant there?
Of course, John.
Okay, we're gonna go to the Celebrity Center.
What we should do? It's probably catered by like Gordon Ramsay.
What we should do is we should fucking walk into the Scientology Center.
Yeah.
And be like, hey. we're charismatic podcast hosts.
They would
reject psychiatry.
Right.
What can you do for us? Just see how far Scientology can take us.
Well, they would ask us to wire them $20,000 first before we can do anything.
That was the thing. You saw what was that famous screenwriter?
They first ask for the deed to your house, and then you can proceed to ask for something in return.
And
then they blackmail you in the process of it.
That famous writer was like basically the deal was, we'll make all your dreams come true. You just have to give us all your money.
I don't know.
That was what it was a famous screenwriter. His daughter was gay, and they made him leave the Scientology center. They'll probably reject me because I'm too gay. They don't like
saying right before the Scientology center. There was something that I remember.
Clams at the Celebrity Center. I didn't know we could go into the Celebrity Center.
You can. You get filmed though. They blackmail you. They be blackmailing over at the sign. They have every kind of tool at their disposal.
Center. I'm gonna walk in there. I'm gonna go, listen, bub.
Yeah. Bob.
Listen, champ.
You're gonna walk in there. It's gonna be David Miscavige with a fucking battering ram, ready to fucking.
Dude, if I saw David
throw
Miscavige,
hands at anybody that looks at him the wrong way.
Again, if you're under 200 pounds, you're a woman.
If David I bet you David Miscavige's wife threatened to post a screenshot, and that's why of a text message exchange they had, and that's why nobody's heard from her in 7 years.
David Miscavige is like, if you feel like courting aliens, you feel like ascending with aliens, you feel like fucking going to a psychiatrist and getting medication.
Yeah.
You are effectively not a romantic partner for me.
Right. Which is totally within his rights to say.
If you don't like musical chairs, remember that part?
I don't remember that.
They would make them play musical chairs. It was a form of torture.
That is kind of a form of torture.
It is crazy.
There was something I was going to say about Jonah Hill, but it wasn't important because it's not an important story. It actually doesn't matter in any way. It's crazy we spent this
much time on it.
It is, but it's a way for me to talk about relationships and therapy without having to apply any of those concepts to my own life, really, outside of the ways in which I did. But yeah, I'm not anti-therapy. I'm not pro-therapy. I'm not against it in any way. I think certainly a lot of people could benefit from it. Maybe myself too. I don't know. I've never been, but I am curious. You do it once a week, right?
Yeah. No. You do it every other week now.
Okay. And it's about an hour, right?
It's an hour, yeah.
I feel like me watching The Sopranos was tantamount to me going to therapy because he spends so much time with Dr. Melfi. You kind of get an understanding for what it is. Yeah. You kind of start to understand the line of questioning, and she's a good one. So who knows?
I think the true thing about therapy is when your therapist starts pushing back on your bullshit. And that didn't start till probably 4 months into therapy, when it was just I was just rattling off. And then it was there was a key moment where he's like, hey, I'm gonna stop you right there. Why are you doing that? And I was I don't know. And then now it's every time I go to therapy, I essentially just get challenged.
Right. This is what I was gonna say.
It's a professional challenging my beliefs, but yeah.
This reminded me. So what I was gonna say is basically this quantifying or this over diagnosis or self-diagnosis that often happens in that kind of causes some of these psychological terms to actually turn this down slightly.
Yeah, it is very good.
It's very good. We love it. But I think part of what's confusing about psychology conceptually is that it's a confusing, science, and in some ways is a pseudoscience, and not completely. I definitely believe in a lot of because it's basically they're measuring patterns, and when you do that over time, you can get to a place where you're like, all right, this is kind of an agreed upon conclusion that the scientific community has reached, but psychology itself is not a quantifiable form. It's not a measurable form of science that you can there's no hard data. So this chemical imbalance thing, it's kind of what even is that? Is that quantifiable? Is it measurable?
Can it be fixed by diet? It's weird.
Are there numbers here? Are there labs, blood tests that you're doing? No, it's not. It's the brain. It's extremely confusing. We're probably aliens and mushrooms, and we don't even know how to sit there and even begin to understand why we operate or function the way we do. And they're doing great work trying to figure out why, but even their psychology is still brand new when you really think about it. I mean, it really didn't even become prevalent until
it's not
the
like
50s.
Biology.
Yeah.
You know what we got to do is we got to take all that money and focus that's being put into psychology.
And we have to give it to Ukraine.
Give it to Ukraine.
We have to give it to Ukraine.
We have to put
They need us.
Do you remember parapsychology?
What?
When they were can we move things with our minds? That's
telekinesis.
Can we fucking remote view things. That was huge in the 70s. What the fuck? That like started
Telekinesis
Ghostbusters.
was huge in the 70s?
Fuck yeah, dude. There were like movies like
Fucking
Ghostbusters.
take me to the 70s. I
Oh
want
my
to
God.
levitate.
Have you seen all the fucking CIA things where they were like, we need to see if remote viewing's a thing? And they were like, the CIA was like waging psychic warfare with Soviet psychic warriors.
CIA teleports as their most common mode of transportation.
They tell, yeah.
I think
0 point
they're not
energy.
telling us about it, but
0 point energy. Fucking. This is just
CIA probably invented cancer. I don't even know.
I'm gonna start trying to
They have not
remote
existed
view.
that long. Huh?
I'm gonna start trying to remote view.
Remote
I had a
view?
buddy. I met this dude in Africa. He was a Mexican guy. He
John's always talking about this guy, some guy he met in Africa.
some guy met in Africa.
I'm
He was
beginning to think he's never been there.
Yeah, I've never been African. He this guy, he was a Mexican. He was from Arizona, but he went to university. He got a soccer scholarship at the University of Mexico. So he went to the University of Mexico, and I think he was chasing a psychology degree. But his I guess one of the teachers that was teaching him, one of the professors, was like one of the leading leading kind of like what do you call it? Experts on lucid dreaming.
Oh, that rocks.
And he
like
was
Inception.
Yeah, and the guy took him under his wing and was like, "All right," and he was like, "I'm gonna start lucid dreaming like crazy."
Hell yeah.
And like he was like sitting there and he's telling all of his lucid dream like techniques and stuff, and it's incredibly hard to do.
Yeah,
but he was
I
like,
don't even know how you do that.
he told me three things. He said, if you're lucid dreaming, and oftentimes when I'm lucid dreaming, the second I become self-aware, the dream ends. So
Right.
it's almost like this like dragon you're chasing. But
Yeah.
if you train hard enough, you can get it to the point where it won't end. And then he said like the 3 tricks to becoming self-aware in a lucid dream is use a light switch. If there's a light switch in the room you're in and it doesn't do anything, it'll bring
Because
a
you're
level
not
of self-awareness.
really asleep. That's why you're lucid dreaming.
You're
Because you're
hallucinating.
actually not in REM sleep.
You're having a
It's
full
self-hypnosis.
You're having it's not just hypnosis. You're having a full blown hallucination of like something that's not there. It's like even some drugs can't even achieve this. Like salvia is the closest I think I've gotten to a lucid dream.
What
But,
about like DMT or something? Or
DMT will probably do it, but DMT is so short. You can be lucid dreaming for hours.
what about acid?
Acid will not put you in a place a lucid dream will put you in. You're not going to do
It'll
a bunch
put
of
you
acid
permanently in a glass of orange
Yeah,
juice.
you'll turn to Brian Wilson. But but he said it was turn on a light switch, look in a mirror, and if you can't see your reflection, you're probably lucid dreaming. Or the big one was
How do you look in a mirror? You just tell
in a
yourself
dream.
to look in a mirror?
If you're in a lucid dream and there's a mirror in the room, you try to find look in
what
the
if
mirror.
there's not a mirror in your
Well,
lucid
you
dream?
try to find a light switch.
You got to
but
create one.
The most common one is try to look at your hands because you won't see your hands. You're like a disembodied person. In
I don't know that I fully believe in lucid dreaming. And maybe it's because it's never happened to me,
And
but it seems like maybe sleep apnea
I've had
that's
lucid
maybe
dreams.
misconstrued.
I've had utterly lucid dreams.
But is it because you're not fully asleep? Is that kind of what you're saying?
It's almost I've had night terrors and I've had lucid dreams. It's different. You're thinking of night terrors.
Well, this
so
idea that
hallucinating
you're
things
in
your room.
control of anything when you're sleeping kind of, I think,
Lucid dream is-
cancels out the whole point of sleeping, which is that you're you're resting.
Lucid
like, at least
dreaming
REM
is playing
sleep.
a video game in your fucking mind and you're the main character.
Right, but when you're sleeping, you're not supposed to be exerting any mental effort into anything at all. So if there has to be a level of awareness to even enter that state, right, of lucid dreaming.
Well, lucid dreaming is having a dream, but you're in
you're
control.
controlling it, right?
You're in control
which
of the
means you're
dream.
exerting energy into something.
I guess. But like the
Do you
thing
know
is
what I mean?
like yeah, but like the main goal, he
I don't know
said
what
his
I'm
main
talking
goal
about.
was to fly.
I fly all the time in my dreams.
Really?
All the time.
You might be lucid dreaming. I've had one dream where I flew.
And I do have control in that moment, but then inevitably something scary happens. Or
Lucid dreams are terrifying, dude. I've had crazy, scary lucid dreams.
I love when I fly. And sometimes you would find that you fly too high. And then you...
Icarus.
Yeah, I suppose, yeah. And people do the dream journals because it's interesting that you can dream and then right afterwards you forget it. You'll be in
it's
a
bizarre.
vivid
You
dream.
can have the most insane idea.
and then 30 seconds passes and it's as if nothing ever happened. It's like, well, what happens in that moment? Like, did you go to another dimension in your dream? Is that why your memory's so
are
foggy?
you in another dimension?
You might be.
Yeah.
This idea of sleep is so mysterious to me in the same way that our existence is mysterious. Nobody really understands it. In the same way that Carl Jung and Freud, as try as they might, can never fully quantify or measure every single thing, that every mental disorder or every trauma related. They never will. I mean, they made obviously the biggest strides of anybody, and we owe them, and for everything they've did. I love Carl Jung. Carl Jung is probably my favorite, but I'm not that super well read in psychology.
I read a book. If anyone ever wants to read a great book about anxiety and just kind of looking at your own anxiety, there's a book I read in a child development class, which is the best fucking class I ever took. It's called The Boy Who Was Raised as a Dog. It's just a really great book about how anxiety affects you in your youth.
If you're raised by wolves.
No, it's a child psychologist, and one of the cases was a feral child, where it was like, this child can't speak because he was so neglected that he missed the age gap where you learn language.
Right.
And he went beyond that without learning language, and it's lost. He's lost it forever.
Forever.
Yeah.
Is that true? So if you don't learn by a certain age, it's a lost cause?
Well, the weird thing is like there are studies on feral children, but they can't. It's such a catch-22 because like I guarantee you there are millions of doctors who would love to see someone grow up in a completely feral environment, but it would be so unethical to study in a controlled environment that like the only times they're able to study this kind of case is with someone who's just heavily neglected or abused as a child, like the famous one that was in Arcadia.
The girl that was locked in the room for all those years. I remember reading about that.
It's just tragic. And but oftentimes they can't speak. They're like autistic.
How does that even happen? You have to just basically hide someone in your
70s.
basement.
It was
forever?
the 70s. Nobody gave a fuck in the 70s. You just had a kid in your basement. It was like, whatever.
Dude, early 2000s, you'd see all these stories with like Elizabeth Smart and like, it's like, oh, we found another kid locked in a basement for 20 years. It's
Elizabeth Smart. Oh, yeah.
It's like, what? You don't really hear about those too much anymore.
Yeah, because it's just so hard to do that now because everybody's got a Ring camera. You know what I mean? But
hey, you can't even store kids in your basement anymore. Isn't that crazy?
yeah, and like what was I saying?
Thank fucking God. But yeah, you used to hear stories about that all the time. I remember growing up, it would just be a litany of stories on, some awful exploitative show like Nancy Grace or whatever, or some TLC shit or HLN. They love HLN is like CNN's sister network, and they like to think of themselves as like this extension of news when really it's like the Hallmark Channel, but it's investigatory. So it's for the same demographic, but it's instead of, watching a Lifetime movie, now you can watch a murder fake investigation about, the way that Nancy Grace exploited like the Casey Anthony case and Nicole Smith dying.
Nancy Grace is a tough bitch.
Oh, she's a stain on society.
Nancy Grace, if it was like the Wild West, Nancy Grace would be like running a town being like, I don't care about your farmland. It's going to be an oil tract for me. Like,
damn, look at that plume of smoke. Holy shit.
Damn, bro, you're blowing clouds,
bro, that
dude.
looks so cool.
Jesus Christ.
That looks fucking awesome.
It looks like we're in a lucid dream right now. I had a lucid dream one time. All my lucid dreams end with either me dying violently or me like doing something
killing
violent
someone
to somebody.
violently? Yeah.
And like usually
That's
I had
good.
a lucid dream one time. It was really funny. I had a lucid dream where in this dream I had a daughter. And I knew it was my daughter. And we were eating, and there was another girl there who wasn't my daughter, and the last thing I would do is take her on a car ride. But so we had we were eating lunch on a space station.
Okay.
And the space station had a massive glass wall, and outside the wall was outer space. And there are other people. It's kind of like Xenon, or what was it?
I like that, yeah.
It was like a Xenon vibe.
You're at a space station.
I was in a space station. There were other people around us. It was like a cafeteria.
It was a community.
A little community of people. And I had a salt and pepper shaker on the table. And this guy comes up and just grabs my salt and pepper shaker and takes it back to his table. And I go...
That really set you off.
I went, what the fuck? And I got up and I said, are you going to ask?
Right.
You know what I mean? And then he started giving me lip. And then I remember he kept giving me lip until I just straight up Sparta kicked him through the window into outer space. And the window shattered. And then everyone in the cafeteria was sucked out in outer space.
Into some vortex that you basically summoned him off to because he stole your seasoning?
He stole my salt and pepper shaker. And
Holy shit.
There was another one that was really scary. It was where
That's
I came
really
to a
fat
violin.
boy mentality.
Super fat boy mentality.
Over
Lately,
pepper, too.
Over the past year, I've actually, the ones where I come to a violent end, I've begun starting to feel it.
Interesting.
And so I remember I've had 2 dreams where I've been stabbed. One of them was a night terror, and the night terror was the scariest one because I dreamt somebody climbed into my bed from my window and started stabbing me while I was asleep, and I could feel the knife entering me, and I could feel my bed get wet with blood.
Interesting.
And I remember I woke up and if you have night terrors, if anyone's familiar with night terrors, there'll be a moment when you're waking up from them where you're kind of in a quasi dream, real life state, and it slowly phases out from the dream. And I thought I'd pissed my bed because I was covered I still felt the wetness.
You were
for a
sweating.
minute. No, I wasn't. It was actually completely dry.
It was piss.
It was piss. But
You're like, actually, it was shit.
There was another
I was covered
dream.
in my own.
It was I was
manure.
I was shit myself. There was another dream where I was riding a motorcycle down like a highway,
down
like
the
a
Red Scare
coastal highway.
subreddit.
Down the Red Scare subreddit naked. That was a really good tweet.
That was a great tweet. Gotta
they,
bring the Twitter back.
Or
the threads. We didn't even talk about threads. Okay, sorry. Continue, but we will.
In this dream, I knew someone was following me in my motorcycle, and I got out and I went into a house, and there was a landing on top of the front door entrance, and I went up to that landing and I waited for that person to enter the front door of the house, and I was going to jump on them and like attack them because I knew they were like coming to get me.
Right.
And when they entered the door, I jumped on them and I got in this like physical struggle with this guy, and he had a knife. And he started.
How do you remember this dream so well?
I remember some dreams I don't, but I remember I felt the knife entering my back, like slowly, like the cold blade. And I remember just being like, "Oh, I don't feel pain. I just feel
John's
the knife."
narcissistic night terror is that basically the Manson family was trying to kill him.
I'm always getting killed
instead of a
or
La
I'm killing.
Bianca.
Yeah. I did. The best dream I ever had was a lucid dream, and it was one of the best dreams I ever had. All my lucid dreams are horrible, but you know how much I love The Mummy?
I do now.
With Brendan Fraser, it's like my favorite movie of all time. I had a dream where I was killing mummies with Brendan Fraser with like a fucking Tommy gun. It was like the coolest thing ever.
That's a great dream,
dude. I was in a big hotel in New York, and for some reason there were mummies in the hotel, and it was like the 1940s, and I had like guns, and me and Brendan Fraser running through the hotel just blowing away mummies. It was the best.
That's a daydream that he has.
Sorry, I didn't mean to fucking take up the.
You're fine. No, I don't care. Yeah, no, I noticed that I have the most vivid dreams when I take melatonin, and I don't take it anymore for that reason.
How many milligrams are you doing?
I would only do 3 because I
do 3 too, and 3 knocks me the fuck out.
If you do 5 or 7, you actually start to build an immunity to it, and it no longer works.
I used to take 30 milligrams of melatonin.
Okay, well that's fucking weird. You're really fucking with your circadian rhythms. I imagine if you do that
much.
That's
crazy.
Yeah, it's probably actually ineffective if you take that much.
I'm a big downer guy.
Melatonin is one of those things where if you take a smaller dose, it actually works the way it's supposed to. From my understanding, yeah. If you up the dosage, you actually render it pretty useless.
Interesting. Okay.
Yeah. So I don't take it anymore. I'm an L-theanine gal now. I like L-theanine. I know it gives you diarrhea, but what doesn't?
Oh yeah, it does give me shits.
But I love
what doesn't. Fuck you, Ida.
Yeah.
Fuck you.
Is it the L-theanine or is it the tangy ketchup Dorito chips?
Oh, for sure, tangy.
I guess we'll never know. But look at the way his eyes just rolled back.
Well, I stretched out. I didn't roll back my eyes. I was.
You were upset at my slander for your ketchup, tangy ketchup Dorito diet.
Every woman I've ever had in my life reads into my eye rolling or my sighing, and I'm just like, I got big lungs and big eyeballs that need to remain wet, and sometimes I don't feel like blinking.
You roll
so maybe
your eyes
I'll roll my
one more time.
eyes.
I'll release all the screenshots.
I got big lungs, dude. I need to fill my big lungs with air so my brain has air. But anyways, continue.
I'll release the screenshots. Yeah,
release them.
Of John saying that if I don't fuck every surfer I'm on a wave with, that we're never going to be successful.
Ida, you have to court Leo. You got to go to the celebrity
center. Here are
center.
my boundaries, plain and simple. You must fuck Kelly Slater and co. You must post as many bikini pictures as possible. Spencer.
Remember the Instagram profile of the surfer who does the podcast?
Oh yeah,
he's so funny,
yeah.
So fucking funny.
Yeah.
Anyways, sorry, what were you saying about your dreams?
Rumor has it that Jonah Hill has made that man disappear from the planet. Nobody knows where he is.
Kicks ass.
He was great.
That's hilarious.
He's great. No, Jonah Hill. I am on Jonah Hill's side 100%.
I'm on no one's side.
He has to be humiliating for him, for everyone to realize that it's like. But here's the thing: we've already known that he's insecure. Like he's revealed that again. He's struggling. He's whatever. Okay, he was in The Wolf of Wall Street. He can kind of do whatever he wants, and I know that's shitty to say. He can't do whatever he wants, but the thing is the thing he did, that one text, made him look bad. If she were to have just released that, it would have been one thing, and I would have been like, yeesh. But she released all these other ones where he was actually very gracious and nice to her and super supportive, and she was the one kind of going crazy on him because she felt, heartbroken that he moved on. I don't know. And the bottom line to the story is that nothing matters. None of these people matter. God bless Jonah Hill, but really God bless everybody else that doesn't get the attention. not even a fraction of the attention as a story like this, and he doesn't want this attention. Like, he was probably trying to live like a private life and like do his
have
thing,
his baby or whatever. And,
and he's not like on social media. My favorite Jonah Hill story, my favorite one is where Don Lemon didn't Jonah Hill didn't recognize Don Lemon at a hotel. And Don Lemon, this was a very telling story, like I think back in like 2012. And Don Lemon got so angry and offended that he publicly went and like shit on Jonah Hill. And then Jonah Hill actually came back, clapped back pretty well. Look at this. This is so funny.
I want to see this. This will be funny.
This is great. I loved this when it happened. It was so long ago, but I'll
I don't know
never
what Don
forget
Lemon looks like.
Don Lemon from CNN, he got fired recently.
Oh, he's black, right?
Yeah, black gay guy. He's basically George Santos. He's basically like a catty, evil. Actually, I think George Santos is much more, appealing than Don Lemon.
George Santos has big fake lips.
I love him. Yeah, he's a
the best.
queen. He's a queen.
He's a queen. Slay, bitch.
I love him. George Santos, please come on the podcast. If I know anybody that knows him. No, I've ironically loved him so much that I actually now completely unironically love him.
Yeah.
Don Lemon on his Twitter feud with Jonah Hill. This is when Twitter was like first taken off, before Threads.
George Strombolopoulos.
Threads has over 100 million users now.
Is there somebody that you just
Well, how close is this guy sitting to him?
I don't really have a
The fuck?
rival.
Anderson have a beef?
No, not at all. Anderson's a very nice guy.
Listen,
We're very friendly.
You know
He reminds
this
me
is
of
still,
Christian,
we are progressive as we can be, but there are still an
Walker?
enormous amount of people who don't.
Herschel Walker's gay
who
son?
can't
Who's this
compute the
Guido
concept of
interviewing
marriage
this
equality,
guy?
I don't look at gay rights as gay rights. I look at them as human rights,
Civil
right?
rights.
Shut the
Civil rights
fuck
are
up,
human
George.
rights.
Absolutely.
I'm a feminist.
That's what dudes say to get laid.
Are both openly gay. That's a huge
Our vibe right
thing.
now is
Yeah.
immaculate
It's
with
a
this
cultural
smoke
thing.
and the
Yeah.
purple.
I think it is a huge thing, and I think it's huge for a couple different ways. Anderson is iconic, right? He's an iconic figure. For someone like that to come out, you're not sure what.
Why
you're
is he
going to
sitting
lose.
that close to
That's
Don
a
Lemon?
huge thing.
It's
For
very
an
weird.
African American man to come out and to did it first. I did it pretty early on, and not be sure of how much support I'm going to get. It's huge on a couple of different levels.
You're so confident, obviously. Have you ever gotten yourself in trouble because of it?
Yes,
Yeah.
you can be
was he about to be?
overconfident.
I follow you on Twitter, and you get into it. I love, like, when people pick fights with me, I love getting right back
I
into
hate
it.
this guy.
Between you and
I hate
Jonah
him
Hill
too.
made
I
me
actually,
Well,
Don
for
Lemon's
Jonah
way
Hill,
cooler.
It was being funny. At first, I was just saying
He's not going to fully
you
take
should be
responsibility
gracious
of it.
always.
Yeah.
And then
Okay, this is the tweet.
Okay.
Said hi to Jonah Hill in a hotel. Think he thought I was a bellman. Didn't know his name till the bellman told me. A lesson to always be kind. I thought it was one of the funniest tweets I'd ever read. He didn't get recognized, so he attributed it to potential racism that it kind of
Yeah.
seems racist, right?
Yeah.
That he's kind of accusing Jonah Hill of thinking, well, he just must have seen a black guy and thought I was a bellman.
Yeah,
you know,
that's
he
it's
doesn't know
very
that I'm
insecure post.
CNN's. Yeah, actually more insecure than Jonah Hill. Didn't know his name till the bellman told me. A lesson to always be kind. Don Lemon and CNN. I said hi. What did you want me to move in with you? I was in a hurry. Didn't realize you were a 12-year-old girl. Peace. That's the Jonah I know and love. The confident,
Yeah.
snarky,
Rasta
funny.
Jonah is not okay.
Yeah. What? Who?
This Rastafari.
Oh, right,
Jonah.
right. Yeah, Malibu Barbie Princess Jonah is not, it turns out, not that becoming.
Didn't realize you were a 12-year-old boomba clot. Peace.
Yeah, peace. I'm actually a 12-year-old girl.
woman, no cry.
No, yeah, no bellman, no cry.
That's
No
what Jonah-
lemon, no cry.
Jonah Hill, when he broke up with his girlfriend, was like, my boundaries make you cry.
He starts doing Afro beats.
That dude who was in fuck.
Who?
He's the big Happy Madison guy. He was in Grandma's Boy and shit. He
Oh,
played
Adam Sandler?
Not Adam Sandler. No, the guy was like, I got a sediment in my piss and my Johnson swelled up like a water balloon.
No, I don't know. That's a good accent. I didn't know you could do New York Yenta so well.
What are you talking about? Hey,
How are you?
but he makes reggaeton music and it's actually pretty sick.
the response
dancehall.
that he had, and I don't have a beef with Jonah Hill at all. But the
He's not gonna
response I
take
thought-
Yeah, because you got
responsibility.
owned, bro.
Yeah, you're
Take that
completely
L.
on.
Yeah,
But
take
watch,
that L. Shut up.
He's such. You know what he did? Like why he got fired? I mean, everyone hates Don Lemon. He's
Why?
Like,
Why'd he get fired?
He's actually a massive misogynist. Like he hates women.
Well, yeah, he's a gay man.
Gay guys often do though. Yeah.
Gay guys
the
have
way
so
he
much
treated
hate for
me was-
pussy.
and I didn't really talk beef with Jonah Hill at all. But the response I thought was a bit homophobic, and the way he treated me was, and I didn't really
Homophobic?
talk on Twitter about it.
Because he called you a 12-year-old girl. That's homophobic.
Yeah.
Oh. The fact that he continued to have a career after this.
Exactly what happened. But, to each his own. It was funny for me. A lot of people picked it up. But that's who I am. If you say something to me that's snarky, then I may say something snarky back. But there's a big lesson in that.
But you started it.
And sometimes it's just
take the L,
leaving people in
homie.
the dark.
Take a knee.
You don't have to respond to every single thing or every single slide or every single incident. And sometimes on Twitter, things can be blown out of proportion.
Sometimes it's fun to get back.
And sometimes it's fun. It's just fun. It is what it is.
Damn, look at that. Jesus Christ.
George Strombolopoulos, that's his name?
Yeah, that's an insane last name.
Holy shit. That's what he's a poor man's George Stephanopoulos. Strombolopoulos.
That's so fucking funny.
That's crazy, dude. Wait, does Jonah Hill talk about it on Stern? If so, that's fucking. Of course, we probably can't play that. I doubt.
Absolutely not. We can't
Strombo. I just want to see.
How about your beef with
What is this one?
Tom Lemon?
Oh my god, so loud. Sorry.
Hey y'all, it's David Begnaud. This is Newsbreaker.
Who are these
I'm gonna let Kathy
losers?
Griffin intro
I don't know, but I just love watching a
Holy
YouTube video from 10 years ago. It makes me feel so alive.
I was in an
Jonah Hill
elevator
and
with
Don
Kathy
Lemon.
Griffin once.
Not taking sides, Jim.
Were you?
Just enjoying.
How was she?
Just
I hear she's nice.
I was at the London NYC hotel when I was 17. And
Is that in London or in
It's in
NYC?
New York, and I went in the elevator, and she was there, and I remember just being like,
Hi,
I think
Tom.
it was like the first like big celebrity I fucking ever met, and I just
Really?
I just
After
said,
living
I
a
think we just
lifetime
said
in
like,
LA?
I think we just like said like, it was just like I don't think we said anything to each other. If anything we said to each other, it was like, "How you doing?" And it was just normal elevator talk.
Were you upset she didn't know who you were?
I was super upset she didn't know who I was, and I tweeted her immediately.
Did she think you were a bellman?
She thought I was a bellman. I thought it was homophobic
Two
and
guys
racist.
got into Thursday on Twitter. Apparently, they met each other at some hotel. Lemon tweeted, "Said hi to Jonah Hill in hotel."
Oh, I thought it was
Think
more
he
than
thought I
this.
was
I thought there was like another
Didn't know
back
his
and
name
forth.
till Lemon told me a lesson to always be kind. Jonah wasn't having any of it. He tweeted, "I
Love
said
this
hi.
guy.
What are you going to do? Move in with you? I was in a hurry. I didn't realize you were a 12-year-old girl. Peace." Lemon is openly gay, so he fired back, "Hardly. You're not my type. But I know rude, and you were." Hill, "I walked out of the restroom and found you waiting for me. Shook hands, said hi, and was on my way. Sorry if you found that rude." Lemon, "Was waiting for luggage. Bellman and I laughed at how self-important you were. Just being honest. Be nice. Stardom is fleeting."
Oh,
After
yeah.
all that, Jonah deleted his replies and hasn't tweeted since.
Hasn't tweeted that. That's what got him off Twitter. He is a sensitive little boy. That
He is a
should make
sensitive
you
bitch,
more
dude.
online. You should be like, dude, I won this fair and square. Come at me.
I would have hit him with a shut up.
Yeah.
That's what I would have hit him with. Anyone if I become famous and anyone ever tweets me mean things, I'm just going to respond. I'm going to go at blah, 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 shut up.
That's stupid, John.
And that's
you
how it's
lose.
gonna be read.
You lose
Shut up, you.
immediately. That's all you can think of.
It's going to be shut up.
Some fucking 1950s Grandpa Gran Torino ass response.
Yeah, that's all I would. That's all they need.
Get off
Shut
my
up.
lawn.
Shut up. At least I'm not calling them hater, troll.
That's way better.
Shut up, hater.
I love the haters. I love the trolls.
What if I respond to a shut up, troll?
Yeah. Shut up, you fucking faggot.
What if somebody gave me a very intellectual tweet? You should look into Hideo Kojima's Twitter. Jesus Christ, I am old. Remember that great memes?
Spit it out.
Remember Content versus Context, that guy, the Japanese
He
guy?
has a Twitter. That kind
He
of
has a
ruins
Twitter.
all his mystique.
No, he has a Twitter, but it's really amazing because he does movie reviews, but he's very elegant about it. If he likes a movie, he'll give an actual like little paragraph about it, and he'll be like, "I like this and this."
Paul
and this.
Schrader reviews movies.
I know, but if
On his
Hideo Kojima
Facebook.
doesn't like a movie,
Yeah.
he just says if he likes a movie, he goes just saw blah blah blah, blah 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 blah. But if he doesn't like a movie, he'll just say just saw blah blah blah, and that's it.
Interesting. It's like the standing ovation at Cannes,
Yeah.
whatever, where if you get 5 minutes, it's a failure. And if you get, 30, 45 minutes, it's a masterpiece.
Wouldn't it be funny if your movie played at Cannes and then everyone's I assume you're sitting in front of the audience, right?
Yeah, you're amongst the audience. It's
Yeah.
super awkward. It's
I would
weird.
pull an Alfred Hitchcock.
Right,
and
where
what I
you
would
go
do-
take the award and
No.
put it
What
in
I
your-
would do is they would start standing and applauding, and I would run to the front of the theater with a handgun, and I'd point at all of them and go, "You better keep standing."
Well, why would you do that?
Because
Did
it'd be
he
funny.
Did he do that?
No, I would just that seems like something Alfred Hitchcock would do. Fun. He had a very dark sense of humor, and I
He's
feel
a
like he
very
would probably
dark
do that.
person. Yeah.
Yeah.
I heard he was a domestic abuser, but who knows?
Every man before 1980 beat the shit out of his wife. Like
I don't know that every
except
man did it.
most. It was more. I don't know.
I mean, I don't
Just
know.
assume they're guilty until proven innocent if it's before 1980.
I suppose, yeah. But Jonah, we love you. Stop going to therapy. Just stop. Enough already. Enough.
Stop
Enjoy the
surfing,
riches and
bro.
enjoy the hot women that want you. They'll always want you. I mean, I wanted him I was so into him when knocked up, super bad, everything I saw him in, I was like blown away at how funny he was.
Stay the fuck out of Malibu.
Even 21 Jump Street, I remember being like, and that's after he lost weight, and I really liked him when he was bigger. I really did. I just found him. Men can carry weight sometimes in a way that it really doesn't change or affect your level of attraction to them. Tony Soprano being one of them. And yeah, I don't know. Don Lemon, loser. Okay. Sarah Brady, loser. Fucking loser. If you ever loved anyone or shared anything with them or have any good memories with them, even if you hate their guts now, okay, there are people that I, at this point in my life, hate, but out of respect for the memories I've shared with them and out of respect just for their lives and for what they mean to other people, I would never go and sit there and like with any friend that I've ever had that I've maybe had a falling out with. Like, I would never go publicly try to, tarnish their name, and certainly not with a partner that I ever had would I ever do that. That's so nasty and gross. It invalidates and nullifies any of the love you might have shared and kind of renders the whole thing meaningless. Because it's not meaningless if you've moved on and you have a new chapter with somebody else. You can still look back fondly on some memories, or they might have shaped you, or those experiences might have shaped you and maybe prepared you for a different relationship. But to just go and betray the trust like that, especially if somebody that is a public figure, and it has to suck to have 1 million people know who you are, 1 billion people know who you are, and something like this happens. Like, that has to suck really bad. And she, I think, might regret this later on in her life as just being like a really shitty thing to do.
She's gonna be broke most of her life.
Now it's hey, I got news for you, honey. That Billabong sponsorship ain't coming anymore. Okay, that's sorry.
They're gonna drop your ass.
Sorry, Volcom's out. Okay, they're out. Quicksilver, Zoomies. Gone.
Rip Curl.
Any other ones? What else? Billabong. There was one that
Quicksilver.
was
You already did Quicksilver.
Fuck. There was one that
Volcom.
was. I already said that one.
Fuck.
There was one that was fuck.
Roxy.
Yes, that's the one I was missing. Damn it.
That was the
trying
gamer
to think
girl.
Of it before
That was
you.
the surfer girl.
I loved Roxy. I had like all their shorts.
Everybody had fucking Roxy.
I fucking love them. Well, anyways, this has been a good Jonah. I didn't really ever think I'd spend this much time on Jonah, but again, he's been in the news lately because of Kanye. Jonah doesn't need to do anything to get a headline. People just love him. They'll always love him.
Yeah,
we'll always love
everybody's
Jonah.
funny fat guy.
We'll always love Jonah, even if he, doesn't love himself. That's, Yeah. Or even if his fucking, cunt of a surfer, allegedly, ex-girlfriend doesn't love him. Yeah. And is obviously jealous that she's not the one with the bag anymore. Let's just be honest about it. All right, guys, we love you all. May you never get dragged through the mud by an ex-friend or partner in your life, and may you make better decisions about who you associate with. May we all. May we all make better decisions.
Be smart.
Yeah, be smart. Be smart and love yourself.
Don't do drugs.
Don't do drugs and
drink your milk. Respect your mom.
Respect your mom and, heal from the trauma and,
stay in school.
And the awful, negative, toxic people from the misinformation manipulation station.
Oh, God.
Yeah. Jesus. Good night.
Good night.
Yeah, bye.
Bye.